All right, let us talk about something that's crucial to not just a leadership position, but life in general. So we're talking today about the law of solid ground, which basically says trust is the foundation of leadership. However, I'm going to make a small tweak in that. John Maxwell, I'm referring to his 21 laws of leadership, but instead of talking about it as a way of leadership, what I want to talk about is trust is the foundation of influence. Okay, so think about that. Who in your life do you influence? If you're a child, you influence your family, right? If you're a parent, you definitely influence your child. You might influence a significant other people at work, your friends, somebody in your community, right? So you might not be the boss or the supervisor or be paying to influence that person. Or maybe you're in business and, I don't know, you go to a networking meeting and you're trying to do business with somebody. What are you really trying to do? Well, I hope that the answer to that is not just make a sale or make some money, but is to make connections, maybe to build some relationships, maybe to see how can I help this person, right? And ultimately what you're trying to do is you're trying to influence them to make a decision that might transform their life, right? So let's talk about how do you build trust? And you might have heard this before. You build trust by, people knowing, liking, and trusting you. So, for example, in the business world, we say people like to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. If I don't know you, I'm going to be a little leery of what you're doing, right? Anybody say used car salesman? Exactly, right? If I don't like you, right? If for some reason there was a disconnect there, I'll tell you what, there was a guy that was trying to sell me gutters not too long ago, and I was like, woo, nope, that's a big no. You don't even have to tell me about your gutters or your sale, but I don't really like you. And it wasn't like I just don't like you. It was, we're having a disconnect. You're not listening to me, right? And if I don't trust you, again, the gutter guy, I didn't trust him. Right? And once that trust is gone, guess what? I can know about you. I can know about your system. I can know about your product. But if I don't trust you, or you've broken that trust over time, we're going to have an issue, right? So trust is huge when you're trying to influence people. There's no shortcut in this thing called leadership or influence. Period. There's no shortcut. Okay? Trust is really built over time, and quite frankly, you can lose it like that. Think about people that you know who have been influential. Maybe an athlete, an actor, a politician, a religious leader, right? Somebody who's had a position of influence, authority, and leadership. And over time, they have built this trust in their people, their followers. And all of a sudden, one wrong move or one wrong statement, guess what? Breaks that trust. So what do you do? How do you build trust? Well, again, you go back to that know, like, trust. So here's a couple things that I have for you today. So the first thing is about knowing. So this is really about connecting and building a relationship with that other person. So, you can do this pretty quickly. Usually when I go to a networking meeting and I'm getting to know somebody, just coming up and being willing to know that person is important. Because if you come up in a networking situation and you're unwilling, guess what? People can feel that, right? But your job is to build a relationship with somebody. You don't have to be best friends with them, but get to know them, okay? So some of the things that I like to do, especially in networking, is I just ask questions like, what keeps you busy? I love that question because it tells me what they're doing with their time. And many times that's a key to me about maybe a problem or an issue or a challenge that they're dealing with. So if they're taking up a lot of time that dealing with, maybe some people on their team, well, guess what? That's something I can help with. So now they just brought to me a problem that they have, and now I can connect back by saying, oh my goodness, one of the things I do is I help with this. And that's a genuine connection. Okay, I'm not just trying to make a sale or make some money. I'm trying to connect with that person. Okay. Another thing that I love to ask is, hey, what do you love about your life right now? What's going really well? Again, that will give me some data, right? And then, the one thing I find is that the more I get somebody talking about themselves, the better they feel and the more comfortable and the more connected that they feel to me. And whenever a person feels comfortable and connected to me, guess what? Now I have an opportunity to influence them for a positive way moving forward. And typically, that gets me a sale. Okay? Now, I'm just fine if it doesn't, because I'm just there. If my purpose is only to connect and know about you as a person and you to know about me as a person, it doesn't matter if I make a sale, right? But typically it does. So that's the know part. And the like part. So this is about your character. Okay, so really understanding who you are on the inside, your thoughts, your attitudes, they come out. People can see it, right? I hope that when you spend time with me that you can see the joy I have in doing what I do, the love that I have for you guys. I literally imagine that I'm just sitting here and having a conversation with you. I hope you can feel that. Okay? When you have poor character traits, they eventually come out. They will shine through. So sometimes I will come in and we'll be doing maybe a training or something, or I'm doing a keynote speech and we're talking about what I'm going to be talking about. And the organizers will say, hey, listen, don't get into the whole personal development side of things, right? We're just here to do a better job. We don't need to get into the touchy-feely kind of stuff, right? That's like warning, warning, warning. Why? Because who you are in the inside, that touchy-feely stuff, can make or break your business. Okay? It can make or break your relationship with your customer. It can make or break your relationship with, you as a team. Okay? So it might be touchy-feely, but it's imperative to your success. Now, the third thing is the trust part, right? So trust, there's a couple different things. First is about, do you keep promises that you make, right? But then it also has to deal with competence. Can you do what you just promised that you could do? Right? So if I have somebody who I meet in a networking and he says, hey, come to me, I sell used cars, I'm going to give you the best deal in the whole city. And I go to you and we're talking and I know for sure that what you're telling me is not the best deal. And I even come out and say, hey man, this isn't the best deal. Guess what? You just broke trust with me. Okay? If I'm meeting with somebody and they say, okay, I'm going to meet here at 9 o'clock, and I show up, and typically I'm early, and I'm there at 9 o'clock, and I receive no word from them, and they're late, and I contact them just because stuff happens, right? So I contact them and say, hey, what's going on? And they tell me, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about you. Okay, maybe once, that's okay, but if you do that more than once, guess what? We no longer have trust. We got to have the know, like, and trust part if you want to influence me and I want to influence you. Okay, guys, there's so much more. I wish I had more time to tell you about how I use this when I go to do a keynote speech and I'm on stage with thousands of people. I do the know, like, trust thing, and there's certain things that I do when I'm up there on stage, even with my presentation slides that really play into this. Or if I'm going to be running a meeting, I'll do the same thing. Or anytime I'm doing a training, there's a ton that leads up to the know, like, and trust, so that when they walk in that door, they already feel like, Michelle is going to help me. Okay? So how do you rate on the know, like, and trust? The character, the connection, the character, and the competence. Okay, I want you to go through and really think about that. Give yourself a rating of 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high. How do you rate on each one of those? And ask yourself that question. So maybe for connection, you feel like you're really good at connecting. And you say, Michelle, I give myself a 7 out of 10. Awesome. Why? What's the evidence you have for getting that 7 out of 10? What has helped you get to that point? And then maybe even the best question for you to ask is, what is going to help you to get to an 8 out of 10? What's the next thing that you have to work on? Okay, so ultimately what you're going to do when you go through on this reflection, you're going to have your rating, you're going to have evidence of how awesome you are, and then you're going to have a plan of what's my next thing? How can I increase my connection, my character, and my competence? Okay, because trust is not just the foundation of leadership, it's the way that you influence other people. Okay. Now, I will say this too, if you're listening to the podcast or you're watching this as a video, get ready, because tomorrow I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that character part. We're going to talk about how your character is going to communicate with people. So I'm going to give you some tips on that. Might even use some examples from my speaking. I don't know. I haven't determined yet. But I know I want to talk about this more tomorrow. And I'm going to have a really cool homework assignment for you too, okay? So hop back on and you'll get more for that. Awesome. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I am so grateful for you. Go out and make your day awesome. So with that, I release you into the wild. Go forth and prosper. Have an amazing day, and we'll catch you next time. All right, bye-bye.